Hello everyone, this is Gabby and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so I was filming another video to post this week and then I looked at the calendar and realized we were already in February and I didn't make my January wrap up. So here I go. On January I read 5 books, all of them fantasy. Well, one of them is more like magical realism, I think. But anyway, the first book that I read this year was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, book 2 in the Harry Potter series. This is actually a reread of the series. I love these books so much. I've loved them since I was a child, so I wanted to make dedicated reviews and discussion for each of these books. I already made one of this one and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. You can link on the link in the corner or in the description down below if you want to watch them. The second book that I read this year was Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This is a children's book and I don't tend to read children's books so much. I don't tend to like them so much. This is a scary story for children and I got kind of scared as well, actually. This is about a girl named Coraline. She moves to a new house with her parents and she likes to explore a lot. So one day or night, I don't remember, she finds a mysterious wooden door that leads her to a world that's like a copy of her own, but darker. There are copies of her parents. She has another mother, another father, and they're really pale, and instead of eyes, they have like shiny black bottoms. At first, Coraline is really drawn to this world because it seems more interesting than her own, but then it gets like really scary. Like her other mother is really evil, so she tries to escape. She finds a cat. There's a whole lot of adventures. I listened to the audiobook narrated by Neil Gaiman himself, and he's such an amazing narrator. I recommend it a lot. Neil Gaiman is a masterful writer. He's a masterful narrator as well. He has such an immersive way of writing and narrating that you get right into the world, and it's really cool. It's just like a 3.5-hour audiobook. It's really fast. You can do it just in one afternoon, and it has some sound effects that scared the hell out of me, actually. The third book of the year was The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman as well. Oh my goodness, was this a good book. Neil Gaiman's writing style is fantastic, is wonderful. I don't have anything to say about it. I also listened to the audiobook on this one, so I loved his narration as well. It's really immersive. He knows how to get you into the world. This is more like a magical realism book. It blends the real world and the magical elements really neatly and well. I just adored it. I started this without knowing what I was getting into. I didn't read any reviews or find out what was it about. I went there blind, and I'm super glad I did because it surprised me a lot. The story starts with a middle-aged man who goes to a funeral to his hometown. He doesn't really want to talk to people, so he drives away and goes to an old house at the end of the lane. The house belonged to a girl he used to play with when he was a kid, and there's a pond there that when they were kids they called it the ocean at the end of the lane. There he starts to remember his childhood, some adventures he had, and God, it was such a strange experience because when I started the story, when he started remembering, I thought it was a children's book because he was 7 when he was telling the story. But there were so many dark themes. There were so many grown-up topics. This is definitely an adult book, a dark fantasy adult book. There are some really scary part and horrific scenes that I didn't expect to read or listen, actually. But I posted on my Goodreads account that I didn't know how to review this book, and I stand by it. I don't know how to review it, seriously. because it's such a strange story, such a strange book. When I finished this book, I left with a really sad feeling of loss. Not because of the story itself, but because I felt nostalgia for the girl I was. And I think that's what this book is about. It has so many quotes of when we are adults, we just walk the same path, the same ways, the safe ways. And when we're kids, we just want to explore and know new things and imagine so much. So I feel like I'm rambling around. I'm sorry, I just don't know how to explain this book, but it's really, really awesome. The fourth book that I read this year is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. This is the book 4 of the Stormlight Archive, and this book is awesome. It has 1200 pages, is a really big beast, and I took so many notes. I plan on making a dedicated review on it, spoiler filled, because I need to talk about this. I have so many thoughts on this book. Brandon Sanderson is a really well-known author in the fantasy community. His world building is fantastic. His magic systems are awesome. His plots are cool. His characters, I love him. I cannot really recommend you this book if you haven't read the other 3. But if you plan on starting with Sanderson at some point, you can start with Mistborn or with the Stormlight Archive, The Way of Kings. It's such an amazing story. It's such an amazing world. Oh my god, I don't really get tired of saying that Brandon Sanderson is my favorite author. This is quality. And the last book that I read on January was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, book 3 in the Harry Potter series. I love this book so much. I have a soft spot for this book, but I'm gonna talk more about it in my dedicated review and discussion for this book that I'm gonna be making really soon. So that was my January wrap up. I am sorry I didn't structure it so much. I just sat here and talked. So if I rambled too much, for this month I already started with From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, I think it's pronounced. Then I will be reading The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb as a buddy read with Book Bench. I will link her channel in the description. And then I'm planning on reading The Eye of the World to start with The Wheel of Time, finally. So let me know in the comments if you liked the video, if you read the books that I mentioned, what you think about them. And if you want to stay tuned, give me a thumbs up, ring a bell, and click on the subscribe button. I will be posting on Mondays and Thursdays. Thank you guys and see you soon.